Good afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome back to News at Noon. I'm News Director Cascio Fonseca here today with news assistants Lee Pye and Joshua Ribakove. And in this top of the hour update, we'll bring you the latest on news and events around SUNY Fredonia's campus and community, as well as the latest in national news and weather. First up, we'll bring it to Lee for our latest Wednesday campus news updates.
Good afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia. I'm Lee Pye with your campus news. Dr. Lei Huang, the Marketing Associate Professor for the School of Business, created the papers titled Understanding Consumer Sentiment, What This Means for Firms Using CSR, that won an award. Co-authored by Christina Harrison from the University of Southern Mississippi, they won an award for the 2023 International Society of Marketing Spring Conference Best Paper Award in Ethics, Social Responsibility, and Sustainability track. These papers contained how tweets from Twitter, quote, evaluated based on tone, valence, and character, coupled with the CSR type, corporate operating performance, COP, versus corporate social performance, CSP, and the related CSR fraud can subsequently impact their CSR beliefs and confidence in the firm. CSR beliefs are the extent that the individual feels a firm should be engaging in CSR activities, end quote. The winner of the Fredonia Technology Incubator's Fall 2022 Student Business Competition, Jeremy Caso Garcia, with his startup clothing brand Blue Strips Apparel, will be presenting a spotlight tomorrow. After graduating from a fashion design oriented school in New York City, Caso Garcia came to Fredonia and created a clothing line to fit each individual's comfort level. This student business spotlight will be held tomorrow, Thursday, April 6th at 12 p.m. in the Williams Center Horizon Room. That's all from me for Campus News. Back to you, Cascio.
Thanks, Lee. Next up, we will have local news. And in local news for today, the SUNY Fredonia Technology Incubator, located on Central Avenue and Dunkirk, has been a source of mystery and curiosity in the community since its inception. Quote, "There's a sense of what goes on in there," Incubator Director Chuck Cornell said of the Dunkirk facility. Well, at a recent open house of the SUNY Fredonia Technology Incubator, some of that mystery was addressed. Beginning with a short introduction, Cornell and project coordinator Lori Garonsky welcomed an audience of the public at the open house before taking the guests on a tour of the facilities. "It's really become kind of a central meeting place for economic development opportunities," Cornell said, "and we're very happy about that. The technology at the SUNY Fredonia Technology Incubator has been entirely funded through grants and donations. There's a lot of resources on our campus that aren't as visible to the community unless you come in," Cornell said. Faculty at the SUNY Incubator have shared a desire to foster connections with the local community, including exploring a possible partnership with Dunkirk High School to create clubs, including an entrepreneurs club, to utilize the space. "We're trying to make those connections that haven't been there before," Cornell said. "Even though it's a SUNY Fredonia building, it's still right in your neighborhood." That's all for local news this week. Very short and sweet. Next up, we'll take it to Josh for national news.
Thank you, Cascio. Yesterday, former President Donald Trump surrendered to authorities in a court arraignment in which he is being tried for 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. He made his appearance in a Manhattan courtroom pleading not guilty. Assistant District Attorney Christopher Conroy stated, quote, "The defendant, Donald J. Trump, falsified New York business records in order to conceal an illegal conspiracy to undermine the integrity of the 2016 presidential election and other violations of election laws," end quote. Each case of falsifying business records is a felony, as it is alleged to have interfered with the 2016 elections, and each felony is punishable by up to 4 years in prison, though it is unknown if the judge would condemn Trump to a prison. The next court date is December 4th, but a conviction would not stop Trump from running for election in 2024. Even if convicted, he could still potentially be elected again as president. Today, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is visiting Poland to thank them for the supportive role in the war. This comes just a day after the United States promised Ukraine $2.6 billion in weapon aid, including air surveillance radar systems, anti-tank rockets, and fuel trucks, as Ukraine prepares themselves for a spring offensive against Russian forces. Other NATO countries such as Spain, Germany, Poland, and Portugal have also promised weapons aid, with Ukraine expected to receive about nearly 50 Leopard 2 tanks in the upcoming months. Zelensky is visiting Poland. Meanwhile, Joe Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron have agreed to try and open up peace talks with Beijing in an effort to put an end to the war. The two leaders spoke on the phone within the past day, and this morning, Macron's office put out a statement that says, quote, "The two leaders have mentioned their joint willingness to engage China to accelerate the end of the war in Ukraine and take part in building sustainable peace in the region," end quote. The French president will be visiting China for the next few days, hosted by China's President Xi Jinping. Washington State is stocking up on abortion medication following a federal lawsuit in Texas that could take a major abortion pill off the market. The lawsuit, supported by a coalition of anti-abortion groups, is suing the FDA, claiming that the FDA improperly approved the medication over 2 decades ago. The pill is mifepristone, and Governor Jay Inslee of Washington recently ordered their State Department of Corrections to use its pharmacy license in order to purchase 30,000 doses of the pill. Washington State received the medication last Friday. The governor claims that about 60% of the abortions in the state are done through the first trimester pill, which accounts for about 800 abortions per month. In his statement, he claims, quote, "This Texas lawsuit is a clear and present danger to patients and providers all across the country. Washington will not sit by idly and risk the devastating consequences of inaction. We are not afraid to take action to protect our rights. Washington is a pro-choice state, and no Texas judge will order us otherwise," end quote. He says the state spent a total of $1.275 million for the 30,000 pills at a cost of about $42.50 per pill. And that does it for today's national news. Back to you, Cascio.
Thank you, Josh. Finally, we'll take it back to Lee for today's weather forecast.
The Northern Chautauqua Weather Update, being brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Thanks, Cascio. The weather today is 74 degrees Fahrenheit, and it feels like 77 degrees. The high is 77 degrees, and the low is 44 degrees. A big jump there. It's a very cloudy day, and the rain will be on and off between 2 p.m. until about 3 a.m. tonight. Tomorrow will be 50 degrees and a partly cloudy day with a 40% chance of rain. Stay dry and enjoy the warmth.
Thank you, Lee and Josh. That'll wrap it up for this Wednesday's edition of News at Noon. Local news for this broadcast was prepared and read by Cascio Fonseca. National news was prepared and read by Joshua Ribakove, while campus news and weather were prepared and read by Lee Pye. Board operations for this broadcast were performed by Alex Erwin. Join us for more top-of-the-hour news updates on High Noon Friday, and until then, take care.